Hi, it's Joy here. We're watching Heartstopper, Season 3, Episode 2, Home. Reminder that you can find the unedited version of this reaction on my Patreon 2 weeks in advance, the edited version 1 week in advance, and let's go. Maybe he'll talk to his
You all packed, ready to go?
Aunt Hayley Atwell
Good.
about Charlie. Oh, sweetie. I don't blame you for worrying, and you feel he's even more powerless than before because he's not in the same country. He can't observe, he can't kind of look after Charlie from a distance.
Charlie, can you tidy up a bit in here, please? The room looks a mess.
He's doing his homework. Chill. When he's...
You do it. And he said it back.
Yeah?
Told you.
Shut up. And Nick was like...
Oh, please tell her, sweetheart.
He said that he was worried that...
Made it, yeah?
Yeah, we just got here.
Oh, he was so close to actually opening up to somebody else, and that's the first step we need. No one's to fuck.
Nick,
Okay, come on, put the phone down. You can talk to Nick later.
Charlie, yeah?
Also, like, yes, it's messy, but the only mess I can see is, like, revision notes and, like, homework notes. So while he's actively doing his homework, is it the end of the world if they're a little bit scattered around? If he'd finished his homework and gone upstairs to go play on his computer or something, then you might be like, Charlie, I think you forgot something. But, like, can't calm down.
Putting a boy over everything else, over yourself.
So I can't have a boyfriend because of schoolwork.
No, that's not what I said.
Mum, you're literally making a problem out of nothing.
I'm only saying this because I'm worried about him.
Well,
That's
he's on
not
holiday
where
for
to
3
be
weeks,
worried,
so
so...
I guess you've got nothing.
Charlie, can we...
She doesn't handle things well. I know
Please
parenting...
not undermine me like that in front of him. I always say the wrong thing to him.
Yes, you do. Parenting doesn't come with a handbook, I accept that, but you are not good at handling anything.
You know, GCSEs, they don't matter that much anyway.
They actually really
There's
don't.
A-levels and then there's uni.
And remember, bad grades aren't the worst thing in the world.
Okay, I love her, so
Left school at 14.
Wait.
it is good to have family in your life.
Oh my god, I got 8 in drama! Well, there's no surprise there.
Oh god, I forgot that they changed it. So, like, she got an 8 in drama, because when I was at school, a long time ago, you got, like, A star was the top grade, then A, B, C, D, etc. And then they were like, that is too terrible because kids will feel bad if they don't get an A or a B. So we'll change it from 1 to 8. So kids can feel bad if they don't get a 7 or an 8. It doesn't make sense, but... Did she not do well? It can be really hard when you don't. And she was going through so much when she was taking her GCSEs.
I hope you'll be joining our Oxbridge prep group in September.
You don't have to go to Oxford just because you're smart, people. Well done. It's okay, sweetheart. You're doing what you can.
Guys, I thought we were all going to Nando's to celebrate results. That's like the only reason that I'm here.
Oh my god. The time, Isaac, promise, we'll do a movie night soon.
Oh, it's hard because Charlie would hang out with him, but Nando's is food. It can be hard to be different from your friends, whichever way it is, when they're all coupling up, but hopefully they will also be good friends at some point and do friend hangouts again. Though I suppose they did last time. Yeah, he's sending a lot more messages and Charlie isn't responding. Is Charlie's not doing okay, is he? Because Nick was a good distraction in a way. Not like Nick was more than a distraction, but like kind of without Nick being there, he kind of only has his own mind to dwell on. Whereas like when he was hanging out with Nick, he could distract himself from those thoughts. Which isn't to say Nick is a distraction. And his friends are all very wrapped up in themselves as well.
Do you ever treat people with eating disorders?
Sometimes. Why?
Honey, as an adult, or as anybody, but an adult especially, when a kid starts talking about this with you, alarm bells just go off in your head, and you're like, just act calm. Like, I mean, she's obviously a professional, so she'll be good at this, but like, isn't it? It's that thing of like, don't scare them off. Like, don't make them think this is a huge deal. Just be comfortable, be warm. It's fine.
I'm a lesbian, Gran.
Your dad never told me that. You need a pretty girl up there, then.
Okay, yeah, so this is her dad's mum.
Perfect. Excellent work. Your mum...
You don't have to talk to her if you don't want to.
You
Good.
really
I
don't.
don't want to.
You don't owe bad parents anything. He's withdrawing and isolating.
Nothing much.
It's so hard, isn't it? Because a lot of them are kind of neglecting Isaac because they're loved up and they're in their little love bubble and they've got busy lives. Charlie's doing it because he's withdrawing and spiraling and isolating. And because everybody's doing it, it'll be harder for Isaac to think there's something wrong with Charlie. He'll just think, oh, Charlie's just sad because Nick's not around and he values Nick too much, like way more than he values me. And it's just babies.
What's up?
She loves you.
I don't know.
She can sense something's wrong, she just doesn't know what.
He was always using this when I was a little kid, so I thought I'd keep it.
I think that's lovely.
What are your ticklish points?
Guys, someone else is with you. Babies in puppy love.
Do you not think it's weird that Charlie hasn't been replying to the group chat?
It is weird.
Oh, he's probably with Nick or something.
But Nick went on holiday. Oh, Charlie's been like silent ever since then.
Something is up with your friend.
Yeah, also he hates me.
Hey,
He did notice. I'm so glad. I wasn't gonna. I'm no blaming him if he didn't notice.
you're missing movie night. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I just.
He's been in his own head.
You promise that's it?
Yeah.
It's so much more than that, sweetheart. I'm so glad they have each other, this group. What was he looking up? A help site? She's so worried about him. It is an invasion of privacy to look, but he needs people in his life looking out for him and knowing what they're looking out for, because she's been trying, but she hasn't known what to look out for.
I want to make art, I want to make new friends, and I want to have all kinds of new experiences.
That doesn't mean she's abandoning the old.
It may not be. I love you.
These babies. They're all just so sweet. And I guess if his parents notice him not eating much, like at dinner, they'll just think, oh, he's being a sullen teenager. He's still upset with me about that thing I said before.
I'm gonna go to the bathroom.
Okay.
It's so hard, isn't it? Because you want to help people and you don't want to breach their confidence. But at the same time, when you're a kid, you probably should tell an adult. Like, she should tell her parents what she saw. And he'll understand one day. Nick should talk about it with his aunt and his mum. But, you know, his mum is not in the show this season. Like, it feels like a breach of trust. It feels like kind of Charlie doesn't want anyone to know, but he is so clearly going through this thing. He needs all the help he can get around him. You should tell someone.
I don't want to leave.
Charlie, you are good enough.
Sort of missing good.
I was just wondering if you've been eating okay.
He loves you, and people that love you will help you through anything. It's okay.
Charlie?
Oh, sweetheart, it's okay.
I
mean, nothing is okay, but it's okay that nothing is okay. You're going to be okay.
think you were right.
Yeah. It's alright, sweetheart. It's so brave to admit that. Because I know how scary it is.
I think I do have an eating disorder. Sorry.
Nothing
Charlie.
to be sorry about.
It's okay. I can't tell my parents.
You can.
My mum's not like yours. She doesn't listen to me. She gets angry at me.
Sweetheart. God, if I'm a parent and my kid ever feels like that about me, I will feel like I have failed. I do believe Charlie's parents love him. I don't think they've handled pretty much anything well, but I do also think there isn't necessarily a handbook. And a lot of people probably expect when they have kids, their kids will be exactly like them, will process the world exactly the way they process the world. And when that child doesn't and has other experiences, it is obviously harder to know how to help them. I have to believe if Charlie were to say to his parents he had an eating disorder, they would help him. They would believe him. They wouldn't dismiss him or be angry at him. I don't know that they'd handle it perfectly, but I think they would be there for him. And it breaks my heart that he thinks they wouldn't.
You just can't eat sometimes, a lot of the time. Which makes him
They're so young
really
to have to deal
anxious.
with all of this.
been getting really bad recently. I don't know what to do now.
You're doing everything you
I
can,
can't force him to
sweetheart.
eat, because then it will just make him more upset. He'll just...
No, sweetheart, it is such a horrible situation to be in for both of you.
I really love him,
He knows.
and I'm scared.
Oh, come here.
It's okay.
That is a lot to put on the shoulders of a 16-year-old.
Yep.
It's okay that you're scared.
Yep. I'm so glad he has people like this in his life.
I
I
don't know
wish
what to do.
Charlie did as well. And I
I don't
know
know how to fix him.
Charlie's parents would never live with themselves if they knew how he felt about them.
Maybe you can't.
It's not about fixing, it's
I'm
being
his
there.
boyfriend.
I know, and he needs help from a doctor or a therapist.
Yeah.
Someone that understands eating disorders
He
and knows
really
how to treat them.
does.
So I just can't do anything.
No, my love.
No, I didn't say that.
You were with him every step of the way. You
Well,
hold his
there's
hand.
lots of things that you can do. You can be there for him,
Exactly.
just to talk or listen.
Yep. Good.
But
I'm
also
proud of you.
knowing that sometimes people need more support than one person can give.
And that's okay, sweetheart. You're doing so much. You've already done
That's
so
now,
much to help
darling.
him face the fact that he has this. So I'm really glad we are finally fully addressing this, because it is not an easy topic to live through, to go through, to address. It's an important topic. I think often as well in media, it's very much like I think girls go through, and that is nonsense. It's a mental illness anybody can get. But I feel like the only times I can think of having seen any kind of real eating disorder in like mainstream media aimed at teens, it was girls experiencing it, which obviously is going to make any boy who is experiencing it, is worried he's experiencing it, will think, well, no, it's just for girls. I can't be experiencing that, which is absolute nonsense. What his aunt said at the end, the like it's an impossible, like you're 16 and that's a lot to have on your shoulders, and it is. I mean, obviously it's a lot for Charlie to be going through at 15. It breaks my heart into thousands of pieces. But as the significant other, as the boyfriend, as the supporter, Nick has already done so much to help Charlie. He's been there for him when he's at his lowest. He's asked the difficult question, I think you might have an eating disorder. That is what prompted Charlie to stop running from it. And yes, that kind of led to him being in his particularly low place for these past few weeks. But he's finally considering it. He's finally acknowledging it. And that is the first step to getting help and getting better. I mean, it's a long road. It's not like he'll admit he has an eating disorder, go to the doctor, boom, he's cured. But it's so important, and Nick has already done all the right things. He hasn't been too forceful with it, but he's been there for Charlie. He's done everything he can, and I think if he hadn't been on a holiday, he would have been able to be there even more, but it was just shit timing of the holiday. Tori also knows, and she's similarly in a position of like, I'm a 16-year-old. What am I supposed to do? How do I help my baby brother with this awful situation that he's going through? Charlie's parents, we've seen that they don't exactly handle things well. And it's clear that when he's gone through things in the past that he struggled with, they haven't been the most supportive people in the world. They've probably done their best. I don't think they're like Darcy's mum and like a bad person, but they haven't exactly been there for him to make him feel safe and loved. Because if they had, he would be able, once he'd come to this point, once he'd realised it, he would be able to speak to them. And if anything, he would be thinking more along the lines of, the wrong lines, but the lines of like, I've already caused them so much trouble, or I don't want to upset them, or that would be his reason for not wanting to talk to them. It would be wrong, and he should definitely talk to his parents about this, but it would be more of a kind of, oh, I'm already such a hassle, I can't hassle them more. Whereas it's, my mum will just get angry at me, she won't listen, and that's so heartbreaking. His mum really annoyed me in this episode. Like, her going on at him about tidying up. He was doing his homework. I've talked about that a lot. And then randomly going on at him about being at Nick's late, and then, you're too young to have sex. Like, yeah, they are too young, in my opinion. I mean, Charlie is legally a year too young, but like, it's very young. I still remember being 15, 16 and finding out people my age were having sex and being like, what? But they aren't actually. They are just deeply in love with each other, and it's beautiful. Um, there is no pressure. You know, I think if I was Charlie's mum, my main concern would be Nick being that little bit older. I'd be like, is he being a bit like pressury or forceful about things that Charlie's not ready for? Again, like obviously we know Nick is not. That would be like where my concern would lie. It wouldn't be in everything else. And it probably, you should have a discussion with your teenage child when they're in their first significant relationship about sex, about how you probably are too young to do it, but if you are going to do it, make sure you do it safely. Like, these are the conversations you should be having with kids. They can be awkward as fuck, I'm sure, but like that is what is necessary to have, not just randomly barking at him that he's too young to have sex and assuming that because he was at Nick's late they were having sex. You need to trust your children, and I don't think Charlie's done anything to merit not being trusted. You know, if they had he had a habit of breaking promises to them, of doing kind of sort of rebellious teenage behavior and being a bit out there, then you could see them maybe not immediately trusting that he's going to be doing what he says he's doing. But Charlie has never done anything like that. So they've kind of assumed the worst of him without giving him a chance. And that, of course, puts him on the defensive around them instead of on the offensive. Maybe he could talk to his dad about it. I mean, his dad has also not handled things well, but at least he's not been like yelling at him all the time. At this point, if Charlie kind of isn't able to talk about it with a parent and soon, I sort of feel like someone else is going to need to. Like, in a way, Hayley Atwell, was the Aunt Diane or whatever, she needs to talk about it with Charlie's parents somehow. Whether it's she needs to talk to Nick's mum and they get Nick's mum to talk to Charlie's parents, because Charlie needs help and it shouldn't be the kids dealing with this and by themselves. It's completely and utterly unhealthy for all of them, and Charlie needs all the help he can get. And at 15, you need to have parents looking out for you. Like, he probably could go to the doctor by himself at 15, but they'd probably notify his parents, like, unless there was a safeguarding thing. It's not, if he was like older than that, he could do it without guidance, but he still needs his parents. So it's just, I'm really appreciating how they're handling this, because it doesn't feel unrealistic. It doesn't feel like, oh, suddenly Charlie was super okay and ready to talk about it, and he's going to go and be really brave and face the doc and go to the, like, it's very realistic and heartbreaking to watch, because this is a very heartbreaking mental illness to have. I'm glad Nick had someone to talk to. I'm glad Charlie has been able to say the words, hard as they are. That is such an important step in getting towards a recovery. Because if you are in denial that you have the problem, or kind of running from how serious the problem is, you're not going to be seeking help for it because you think you can manage it. So it is, as awful and heartbreaking and hard to watch in a lot of ways as it was really important and really, really, really well done. And I just want to give them both such a big hug and tell them how proud I am of them. They're such wonderful young men, and I'm very emotional about it. I did appreciate Tori kind of contacting Nick and saying she's worried about him, like looking out for Charlie, but I do also feel like the burden isn't all on Nick to take care of Charlie. Like, yes, they're dating, so you do look out for your significant other. They're also children. Like, children do not have this level of responsibility. If anything, I was sort of hoping she would do more of a, when you're back, can we talk about Charlie? Can we figure out how to help him? And even, I don't know, talk about it with Charlie, but can we face it together? Because he'd be mad that she snooped on his laptop, but she did it because she was worried about him, and right now the most important thing is that he gets help. So I do hope he talks about it with his parents, or maybe another adult who he can feel safe with that can then talk about it with his parents with him, so that he kind of has that support of someone who, if his parents don't do it, like fly off the handle or say you're just being melodramatic, or I don't know, whatever he's afraid they do, which I'm sure they wouldn't do in this instance, but if he did, I would have to believe that he'll be able to do it. Because I truly just think his mum at this point is just looking at Charlie and just thinking, oh my god, typical lovesick teenager, just wants to keep going over there. Of course he's sleeping with his boyfriend, or of course he's doing things that he shouldn't be doing because he's too young, and of course he's pushing boundaries, and whereas instead he's just a very troubled, very upset boy. And in a way she probably thinks, kind of like I said in the previous episode, how I appreciated that this show was showing in a lot of ways that just because things go well in your life, just because your life gets back on track, you get to be happy, it doesn't mean all the problems go away and your mental illnesses go away. In a way, she's probably thinking, well, you know, yeah, a couple years ago he was being bullied, but now he has this super big group of friends, he's got a boyfriend, like, he's happy, so he won't be having any problems like that. I don't have to worry about that. You know, she's missing the warning signs because she just thinks he's being a withdrawn, silent teenager, which he is not being. So I do hope his parents are looped in at some point, because Charlie needs them to be. And God, if I really hope I'm a parent one day. I desperately want to be a parent. And if my kid ever feels like, oh, if I tell my mum that I'm going through something, she'll be angry at me, it would break my heart. And I would be like, how have I failed as a parent? So fuck Charlie's parents to an extent. But I do also think an element of it is Charlie's own insecurities coming through. So I love Charlie and Nick so much. They're in an impossible situation, both of them, because this kind of mental illness is impossible to deal with. Then Tara and Darcy. I'm glad the grandma seems wonderful. I love that actress. My brain fog is like, her name, I know it, is not coming to me. And that she is okay with it, and that, you know, she hadn't figured out that she was a lesbian, but she was like, oh, okay, we'll put a girl up there. You know, like, I think it seems like, and it being her dad's mum, I think is important as well, because I'm not entirely sure where Darcy's dad is. If he's dead, he might be dead. I don't know. Or just not in the picture. But I mean, I don't remember. Like, to tell me if we know. But that kind of just casual acceptance and like, oh, well, I didn't know that. Okay, then put a girl up. Is kind of just natural and safe. And, you know, as much as, yeah, as a teenager, the idea of moving in with your girlfriend is super romantic and cool. As a kid, having a family is, so if you're able to have one, is really important. And so I do think it's great that she has moved in with this grandma and that she's got this home that is a family. And I think blocking her mum's number was 100% the right thing to do, because she doesn't need to deal with that. You do not owe parents who have wronged you anything. All of this bullshit of maybe you should forgive them because they're your parent is a load of rubbish. Like, if one day you decide, I would like to try and have that parent in my life again, and that parent has put in the work and has put in the effort and is doing better, then you can have them in your life. But you do not owe them anything. It purely comes down to if you as a child think your life would be better from trying to have the parent in it. I feel very strongly about this. I do feel sorry for Isaac, because he's definitely being very left out in the friend group, and, you know, everyone in the friend group more or less is paired off, and he is the odd one out. And not only is he the odd one out, but he is coming to this new understanding of himself that he likely will never have any kind of romantic partner. And he doesn't necessarily want one, but that also does mean that he will always be that bit different from them, and he will always be that bit isolated. And on top of that, he's kind of aware that there's something going on with Charlie, but he again doesn't really know what it is and how to help him. And so he's probably just feeling very lonely right now, and probably trying to put myself in his shoes, feeling a bit like he's always going to be this lonely, because throughout his life everyone else will pair off and he won't, and therefore he'll be the odd one out. But that isn't true, and he'll be fine. He'll be just fine. He'll be wonderful. I'm glad that Elle's finally able to say to Dell, like, it's gonna be okay. I'm not gonna just vanish off the face of the earth. Like, we're still gonna see each other. It's great that I'm getting this new experience, but I still love you. So I think that was really nicely done, and I hope we do see that. Like, it's gonna be a struggle. It's gonna be, you know, miserable in a way to not be able to see each other as much, but it's also going to be wonderful because she'll get new experiences and new friends. He'll carry on with the rest of his life, and when they see each other, it'll be so special because they're seeing each other, and it's all going to be okay. And I'm still really emotional about Charlie. So yes, I just want to give him such a huge hug. A reminder that you can find the unedited version of this reaction on my Patreon 2 weeks in advance, the edited version 1 week in advance. Thank you so much for watching.